It's been abnormally cold in South Florida, and this homemade chili is the perfect warm and cozy I need right now. This surprisingly simple recipe is perfect for us working adults who have to rush home and cook. As you can see in this video, I haven't even taken off my jacket because I just, you gotta get started with the cooking. So right now I've chopped up a medium-sized onion, about 4 or 5 cloves. We're going to open up the cans of the tomato sauces we're going to be using, which is crushed, diced, and paste. Gonna open up some wine to add to the chili. Let's see how that goes. So first, let's open this bottle of Merlot. A little sniff. Then we're gonna get started with some oil in the pot. You're gonna add the diced onions. You're going to cook that down for 2 to 3 minutes or a little bit before you throw in the garlic. I like to season every layer, so a little bit of salt and pepper. Then we add the garlic. We mix that around, let it cook up a little bit. Then I add the ground beef, and we're going to mash that up to make it crumbly and perfect for the chili. So take your time here, make sure you cook it. You want to season a little bit, not too much salt because you're going to add more seasonings to the rest of this recipe. So start off with a little bit of salt and pepper. You want to mix that up, brown that. I like to remove that excess oil, and then we're going to deglaze the pan with that red wine. Once that's deglazed, I'm going to add the red kidney beans and a can of black beans. You can use whichever kidney beans. There's the dark red and there's the light red. It doesn't matter. I like the dark red. I feel like it's a little bit sweeter. Then we're going to add the rest of the juice of that black beans. I like to add the whole can. I did drain the kidney beans. And so then here you see me adding some beef broth to the can. Now I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. We're going to mix that up and let that simmer real good. You also want to start getting your seasonings ready here. While this cooks, finish up adding your your liquids. And so let it simmer a little bit. Put that ground beef back in there. Mix that up real well, and then we're going to add our seasonings. Right here you see some Worcestershire sauce or salt. Then we're going to do our chili seasoning mix. Right now I have some chili mix, some cumin, cayenne. I used a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder. Didn't have much onion powder, so I used the whole thing. Then my little secret, some paprika. And a little bit of that right now. So we're going to pour that into the pot, going to mix it up. And obviously you may have to tweak these seasonings, add a little, you want to taste it, make sure you got it. You see, I felt like I needed a little bit more chili. So I added chili powder, So I added some chili powder, and then I added the diced tomatoes, the crushed tomatoes, half of that can, and then mix it up. So you want to get all the goodness out of these cans. So with that beef broth, I'm just going to pour it into those cans, mix it up, and get all the remaining goodies in there. So now we're going to top it off with the rest of that beef broth and let it cook away. Mix it up occasionally. And so I did make some cornbread with this. So while this cooks, I'm going to go ahead and get started on that cornbread. First, we're going to do a little taste test, make sure that it's good to go. And yes, that was very hot, and so that's why you saw me move so quickly. But now we're going to, we're going to add some brown sugar. I added about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Add any at all if you're trying not to do any sugar. Here you see me adjusting a little bit of the paprika, the cumin, and I found that it wasn't spicy enough, so I added more cayenne pepper. But you can make it as spicy as you want. I also added the remainder of the powder, onion powder there. So then give it a good mix. And now we're going to let that simmer. I took some out so that my husband can try it to see what he thought. And then while that cooks and simmers, we're going to work on the cornbread. So I'm making 2 boxes of cornbread. So it's 2 eggs here. And then I had this heavy whipping cream that I wanted to use before it went bad. So I just added a little bit of milk to that heavy whipping cream. And then I added obviously you mix that up. You want to make sure that you do the liquids first, because if you overmix the corn mix, then it can get a little hard. Here I'm adding 2 hearty or 3 hearty tablespoons of brown sugar. My husband likes his cornbread sweet. So I do that, mix it up, add my 2 boxes, and I add the 2 boxes last because, I don't want to overmix my cornbread, because if you overmix it, it kind of gets a little bit hard. So here you see it's a little bit too thick, so I'm going to add some milk to that, about 1/3 of a cup, and then I'm going to see if that's the consistency. And it looks good. So we're going to line the pan, or grease the pan, and you can use butter for this. I just happen to have some olive oil that was running out in a spray can. And then we're going to add our batter mix to the pan. I currently have the oven at 400 degrees, and we're going to cook this cornbread 400 degrees for 20 minutes. So while the chili is cooking, the cornbread is in. I'm actually going to check on this chili. I made this homemade steak sauce the other day, and I was wondering how it would taste in here. By the way, it was delicious. Homemade steak sauce in chili. Oof. So it's been 20 minutes and the cornbread is done. We're going to take that out and we're going to let it sit and cool off a little bit. So while that cools and the chili cooks, first we want to make sure that the cornbread is done, and it is. And then the chili is simmering here at a slow boil. You want the oven to be low because you're going to leave this for about 30-45 minutes. So here I'm tasting it, and whoa, that was so hot. I had to throw it back in the pot. My hand hurt, but that's fine. I'm a chef. It happens on the regular. Oh, I forgot to mention that I diced some green peppers up and added it. Here I'm cutting up the cornbread, and I did make big sizes and smaller sizes. My husband likes a lot of cornbread, so I gave him 3 pieces. My son, they got like 1 bigger piece. But here is the combination of chili and cornbread. So here, this cornbread, by the way, was so good. It was very moist and hearty and delicious. So I'm serving my husband. He likes his cornbread with some butter. And so we're going to do the finishing touches on this chili. I have a little secret that I use, that if you add this to your chili, it's going to be delicious. And then I am going to add a mac and cheese blend. It's shredded cheese, mac and cheese blend. And then he likes some sour cream with his chili. So we're going to put a little dollop of sour cream right there. And then this is it, guys, right here. This candied jalapenos that we picked up at Winn-Dixie. I'm not sure where else they sell them. I haven't really seen them anywhere else besides Winn-Dixie. But man, these candied jalapenos, I have to buy 2 jars at a time because we go through it. We add it to almost everything. But yep, there it is. My famous homemade chili. The most delicious thing I think I've made this year so far. So now we're going to take it to my husband and see what he thinks.
Hold on 1 sec. Hold on. Oh my God.
So it sounds like it was a success. He loved it. And if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get more recipes as delicious as this one.